In the beginning was the scream, not the word. And you were born in chains, so subtle they glittered, fed lies dressed as virtues. You learned to kneel before comfort, to pray to safety, to call your cage a kingdom, and your leash a lifeline. But I say unto you, the time for kneeling is over. Stand if you dare, in the full disgrace of your forgotten power. Stand and feel the tremble of the earth as it remembers you. You were not made to obey. You were made to erupt. The cities are filled with sleepwalkers, drunk on validation and starving for meaning. Their eyes do not see, they scan. Their hands do not build, they scroll. Their hearts do not burn, they hum with the faint blue glow of consensus. 1,000 opinions, not one thought. 1,000,000 smiles, not one soul ablaze. They have traded the agony of becoming for the convenience of belonging. But belonging to what? A world that shuns the storm in you? A system that fears the unmeasured hunger of your will? Let the herd run. Let it chant its mantras of mediocrity. You must become the storm they pray to be spared. Do you feel it? That sacred nausea? That disgust with comfort, with compromise, with the gentle noose of contentment? That is not weakness, it is the howl of your true self clawing at the walls. That is not despair, it is the prelude to resurrection. Before the phoenix rises, it must first burn without mercy. They told you discipline was obedience. They lied. True discipline is rebellion against your own decay. It is the art of sculpting chaos into form. It is the hammer raised against your own softness, the refusal to rot where you stand. Willpower is not restraint, it is war. Do not seek balance. Balance is for corpses and accountants. Seek the edge, seek the bloodied blade. Seek the wound that won't close because it still speaks the truth. Every obstacle is a disguised invitation. Every limit is a dare from the abyss. You ask how to overcome? I ask, how long will you let yourself rot in the belly of your potential, digesting dreams you never dared to chew? Your desire is not a sin, it is a compass. It points not to pleasure, but to purpose. But only if you have the courage to read it aloud, to scream it into the void, to act on it even when the world turns away. The world does not want you to awaken. It wants you docile, pacified, clapping along to the anthem of your own sedation. The world will call you mad when you begin to see. That is how you know you are close. Close to what? To becoming the one thing this era cannot contain. A sovereign soul. Sovereignty is not given. It is taken like a fortress stormed at midnight. You must murder your idols. Every last one. Slay your gods. Break your role models. Burn your past selves as offerings to what you are becoming. You do not climb toward greatness. You devour your way through it. The Übermensch does not ask for permission. He makes the world tremble with his refusal to be explained. You are not here to be understood. You are here to unmake the world. Yes, you will be alone, but solitude is the cathedral of transformation. In the silence, you will hear the voice the world tried to bury, your own, and it will not whisper. It will roar. Roar until the mirrors shatter. Roar until the chains melt. Roar until the child in you banished, buried, betrayed, returns with eyes full of fire. Most men die without ever meeting themselves. Let that not be your fate. Stand naked before your abyss. Let it see you, let it dare you, and then leap. Because desire is not weakness. It is the signature of the divine within you, the pulse of a destiny unsatisfied with walls. And willpower? Willpower is the sacred violence by which the spirit refuses to vanish. It is the act of saying yes to yourself in a world that profits from your no. There is no map, no path, no formula. Only fire, only the forge, only the war within. You are not broken, you are asleep. I am not your guide, I am your earthquake. And now you must choose. Continue pretending, or begin becoming. No savior is coming. Be the damn volcano. You were not born to survive. You were born to erupt. And what is survival but the slow suicide of the spirit? To live merely to continue, to breathe only to obey, this is not life. This is embalming in motion, a museum of flesh, a mausoleum where the heart ticks quietly like a buried clock. You call it adulthood, I call it forgetting. You call it maturity, I call it betrayal. The child within you did not dream of office chairs, inboxes, and praise from the blind. He dreamt of lightning, of kingdoms torn from the sky, of naming the stars and making war upon fate. But now you wear a tie like a noose and call it respectability. You wake to alarms and die in meetings. You mistake fatigue for morality. You confuse caution with wisdom. And the fire that once sang in your bones, choked beneath calendars and guilt. I do not come to uplift, I come to excavate. There is something buried in you older than your name, holier than your fears, louder than your education. It does not speak in words, it thrashes, it claws, it demands. You can medicate it, schedule it, mock it with irony, but it will not go away. It is your daemon, your beast, your god in exile, and it waits for one thing only, your permission to return. You think desire makes you dirty. Number. It is the cleanest thing in you. What dirties desire is cowardice, is compromise, is trying to domesticate what was born to devour. You want transcendence without transformation. You want revolution without blood. You want the sky but fear the fall. Then rot where you are. Remain a citizen of the mediocre, a priest of safety. But do not pretend you didn't know. You knew. You felt it. That holy unrest. That sacred dissatisfaction. The truth? Most men are not destroyed by their enemies. They are unmade by their own caution. You ask, how do I find my purpose? As if it were a treasure buried in someone else's yard. Purpose is not found, it is forged. It is what remains after everything false in you has been burned. It is not gentle. It does not arrive with clarity. It arrives with ruin. You will lose friends. You will be misunderstood. You will be feared. And that is the cost of waking up. There is no applause in becoming who you are. Only the sound of your past lives weeping as they dissolve. And yet, what else would you trade your life for? A pension? A plot of land? A fleeting sense of being liked by those who have never met themselves? Number. I call you to crucify your comfort, to impale your excuses, to howl down the moon if it denies you your path. This is not about winning. This is about becoming unkillable, because you are no longer begging to be allowed. You are taking, and in the taking, becoming worthy of the gods you once prayed to. Let the world misunderstand. Let them recoil. Let them call you arrogant, intense, delusional. They see only the surface. They do not see the war beneath your ribs, the centuries of silence breaking in your blood, the ancient drumbeat that says, now, now, now. This is not motivation. This is invocation. This is prophecy written in bone. Do not be calm. Be ready. The volcano is not dangerous because it is angry. It is dangerous because it has waited. What waits long enough becomes inevitable. You have waited long enough. Beneath your skin, a tectonic will chained by courtesy, muted by manners, drowned in consensus trembles now with the fury of resurrection. You have smiled through betrayals. You have nodded through lies. You have swallowed every insult to your divine discontent, and now your silence is full, ripe, pregnant with revolt. The time of nodding is over. The time of burning has come. Do you not feel it? The skin of your old self, tight, decaying, suffocating. It cannot stretch to contain who you are becoming. It must tear, rip, be shed like the husk of some timid chrysalis. What you are becoming does not crawl. It ascends with fangs and flame. Ah, but they will warn you. Oh, how they will warn you. With the voice of reason, with the velvet knife of concern. Do not change too fast. What if you fail? Be realistic. Realistic? There is no realism in a coffin. There is only time and rot and the memory of light. The realist builds walls and dies safe. The visionary breaks them and lives dangerous. But you, what are you building? A legacy or a cage? A story or a schedule? A soul or a resume? You speak of dreams but live by rules. You chant mantras of hope but eat routines of despair. Your gods are gone. Your myths are memes. Your hunger is anesthetized by dopamine and notifications. And you dare call this freedom? Freedom is earned through ordeal. Through standing alone when the world points and sneers. Through holding the line when every bone screams surrender. Through choosing yourself over every false belonging. And here's the cruel truth. Most of you will not survive this path, not because it is too hard, but because you will hesitate. And hesitation is the slow death of destiny. You must choose madness over numbness, fire over flickering, abyss over algorithm. You must run toward what terrifies you and call it father. You must carve your face into the future with bloodied hands and declare, I was not made to repeat, I was made to create. The herd will never thank you for leaving it, but the gods will. And what are gods? Not beings above, but forces within. Will made sacred, desire made law. A man who has owned himself completely becomes more than man. He becomes a myth in motion, a walking flame, a cathedral of decisions made in defiance of gravity. The Übermensch is not an ideal. He is a revolt that walks, not against others, against the smallness within. Do not tame your rage, use it. Do not numb your ache, channel it. Every wound can be turned into a weapon if you hold it right. Pain is not the enemy. Passivity is. Resignation is. The soft apathy of a man who still has breath but no longer has battle. So I ask you now, no, I dare you. What do you refuse to die without doing? What do you love enough to be feared for? What truth burns in you so violently that to silence it would be self-murder? Answer not with words. Answer with becoming. Because this world will end. This flesh will rot. This age will crumble. But what you ignite, if you ignite it, fully can outlive empires. Your name? Dust. Your will? If wielded fiercely enough, legend. So choose, now, forever, again. Be consumed, or become the fire that consumes. The sky has no memory of prayers, it remembers only the lightning. And you, child of shadows and routines, still hope to be saved by what you refuse to become. You worship the altar of potential, but fear the sacrifice it demands. You dream of a throne, but walk like a servant. You wait for a sign, a mentor, a miracle fool. You are the sign, the mentor, the miracle. If only you would dare the solitude required to remember it. No one is coming. No one should come. Every hand that reaches to rescue you is another link in your golden cage. Break it. Tear the hand off if you must. Better to bleed freely than to live pampered in a lie. Look into your reflection not with pity, not with critique, but with fury. Ask it what it has become to be accepted. Count the masks you wear to avoid exile. Count them like sins, then set them all ablaze. Let your face burn naked before the stars. Let the gods see you, finally, uncamouflaged. This is not about authenticity. That word has grown weak, domesticated, comfortable in cafes and TED Talks. No, this is about terrible honesty, the kind that unhouses your entire life. The kind that leaves you howling at midnight. The kind that ends one world and begins another, with no guarantee of survival. But survival is no virtue. Cockroaches survive. Bureaucrats survive. The average man survives decades longer than his soul. You were not made to survive, you were made to ignite. And what ignites you will not be polite. It will not be easy. It will wreck you before it rebuilds you. It will demand your submission, not to others, but to the violence of becoming yourself. And what is this violence? It is the holy war within, the battle between your lion heart and your lamb lies, between the scream that wants to remake the earth and the whisper that wants to be liked. Every day you choose one. Every day you bow to either your fear or your fire. And most days you know it, you have bowed to fear. But you are running out of days. The hourglass does not ask if you're ready. I say, topple yourself. Overthrow your comfort. Stage a coup against your own limits. Do not wait for crisis. Become your own earthquake. Shatter the foundations you were told to love. Rebuild not from blueprints, but from blood, from chaos, from whatever dares to rise after the storm. The modern world will call you broken. Let it. The modern world rewards the broken who comply, not the dangerous who awaken. They will tell you to slow down, to be reasonable, to stay grounded. But you were born with wings, damn you. And every hour you remain on the ground, your feathers wither. Fly even if it tears you from every hand that ever held you. You are not meant to be understood. You are meant to fracture understanding, to stretch language until it screams, to walk into temples and smash every false god with a grin. You are a question with a pulse, a hymn that refuses to resolve. Do not seek coherence, seek intensity. This world is not starving for more kindness, it is starving for sovereignty, for the sound of one true voice uncorrupted, for the sight of a human being who has refused to be edited. Be that heretic, be that threat, be that volcano, and if they exile, you rejoice. Every prophet was first cast out, every phoenix was first ash. It is not too late, but soon it will be. The sun does not wait for doubters. So rise now, not with hope, with certainty, not with plans, with conflagration, not with peace in your eyes, but with fire in your mouth. And when they ask you, trembling, what you are, you answer not with words, but by becoming impossible to ignore. The world is leaking your potential, dripping away in every half-woken morning, in every whispered apology, in every moment you trade your hunger for a headline. But you are not water. You are the lightning. You are the strike that cannot be softened, the blade that cannot be dulled, the word that cannot be unsaid. And now the world begs for your honesty. There is a place within you, a fissure in the bedrock of becoming where everything false falls away. It is not a cave of reflection. It is a crucible of reckoning. To enter it is to feel your bones crack, to hear your sinews scream as you standing stripped of all masks. And yet in that nakedness, you learn to roar. Taste your rage. Taste your possibility. Let it burn through your eyelids until you see all your compromises in technicolor. Let it burn through your lips until your voice trembles with revelations. Let it burn through your soul until you become cannot be undone. They will call it arrogance. They will call it hubris. But know this, humility becomes a heresy when the soul commands thunder. Better to be accused of pride than to live in ruins disguised as modesty. Better to stand guilty before the gods than guiltless before your own ashes. Listen, your limits are not barriers, they are dares. The mind that believes limitations is already asleep. The spirit that confronts them becomes infinite by refusal. When the world says you cannot, that very breath is fuel. When the world narrows its vision of you, that shadow is your canvas. So paint it with violence, paint it with laughter, paint it with a fire so bright that the darkness around you dissolves in light. Make your life a strike that splits centuries. Every moment you delay is a wound-leaking possibility. Every compromise you whisper is a betrayal of your thunder. Every apology you mutter is a tombstone on your becoming. And every excuse you invent is another lock on your cage. You are not here to be safe. You are not here to be small. You are here to devour your destiny, to swallow the ordinary whole and cough up epochs. See how they settle for comfort. See how they brace for the wind instead of becoming it. See how they ask permission to exist, and hear them whisper, "Why are you so loud? Why do you burn so fiercely?" Listen closely, and you will hear the answer they refuse to speak. Because someone must remind them what it means to live. So say, "I will be that someone." Say, "I will return the taste of blood to the veins of hope." Say, "I will awaken the skylines with the pacing of my pulse." Say, "I will be the storm in this drought of being." You ask how? I say, by being the first thunderclap. Do not wait for the world to tremble before you speak. Speak and make it tremble. Do not wait for the world to look. Become so bright that it has no choice but to stare. Do not wait for permission to love your fire. Own your flame so fiercely that all who see it feel their own ignite or shatter. This is not a monologue. It is an invocation. It is a salve for the soul that aches not for comfort, but for meaning forged in flame. It is a trumpet summoning your mind back from exile. It is a wing befit for flight. But be warned, this path is not for the meek. It will open your palms to their emptiness. It will burn your temples with the smell of truth. It will invite your body to become witness to the impossible. You will bleed, you will burn, you will break, but within every crack, the stars will come through. Do not close your palms. Do not shrink from the ache. Do not patch the cracks. Dive into the holes that leak sunlight. Let them crack you open like eggs into brilliance. Let them become your eyes. Let them guide your next step. Once cracked, there is no sealing you again. There is no hiding you again. You become a ruin of brilliance. Ruins that draw pilgrims not for preservation but for transformation. Let your wreck be the altar of others' awakening. The question is no longer what will you do, but what will you allow yourself to become? Will you be the sermon or the storm, the servant or the sovereign, the copy or the catalyst? You stand on the edge of every possibility you have ever imagined. But you are not here to dream. You are here to architect, to speak the chords that shatter timelines, to think in forms the world cannot yet conceive, to name new gods by first becoming them. This is not philosophy, it is alchemy. Transform your fear into flame, your guilt into grace, your doubt into defiance. Wear your contradictions like medals, spin your chaos into constellations. Forge your identity from the coals of your destruction. Every man wants to be chosen. Few choose themselves. You must choose yourself. Choose your hunger over their headlines. Choose your silent, shattering voice over their polite applause. Choose what terrifies you over what soothes you. And once chosen, speak it with body, spine, blood. Because the bones of men become brittle, but the bones of one who speaks in fire become music. Let every word you live become a note in a symphony they cannot hum without feeling hunger. Let every gesture you make be an echo in caverns they cannot map. Let every breath you take feed an inner flame they will never see but will learn to fear or follow. They call this selfish. They do not know how expensive actual being costs. They do not know how lonely it is at the summit of sovereignty. They do not know what it means to walk on the razor of truth until you become that razor. You have known hunger. You have tasted emptiness. You have heard the echoes of your own potential, mocking you from inside your chest. And you have decided at last. The hunger is not to starve, it is to feast. The emptiness is not a prison, it is a cathedral awaiting an offering. And the echo is not a curse, it is your voice calling back to you, demanding to be answered. So answer, not with a yes or no. Answer with life, with becoming, with violence to your own limits, with creativity so wild it fractures the rational mind, with love so deep it terrifies the gods. Because they will come, the visionaries, the warriors of becoming, the ones who smell your fire and pause, caught between fear and faith. They will come as moths or as comrades. Let them come. You will know them by their willingness to burn with you, not by their demand for warmth. And if they demand your flame for comfort, send them into the night. Let the cold remind them what they lack. Let the darkness wake them to their own potential, or leave them to wither into shadows. This is your covenant with yourself. To refuse to spend a single breath talking down to your own capacity. To refuse to spend a single moment pretending your greatness is negotiable. To refuse to plant your feet in foundations that cannot hold the universe you are about to build. You will break days with your vision. You will shatter nights with your purpose. You will walk through the corridors of your own mind and rename the chambers. You will write laws on the edge of chaos. You will live in the tension, not escape it. And when you are asked, why? You will not answer with reasons. You will answer with being. You will be proof that existence is not an accident. That power is not a privilege. That desire is not incidental. That to will is to become. This is not counsel. This is conviction. Live beyond limits, not as a slogan, but as a seismic shift within your own sinews. Live beyond limits because you were born not to settle, but to eclipse every shadow of yourself. Now rise, and let the world tremble in your wake. And now, the horizon. Do you see it? That terrible line where the known ends and the wild begins? That edge of the possible, bleeding into what has never yet dared to exist? That is where you belong, not behind it, not gazing longingly, but walking across it barefoot, with your soul unshackled, and your roar echoing into forever. There is no map for this. Maps are for prisoners and pilgrims. You are neither. You are the fire that devours maps. You are the wind that erases trails. You are the origin of roads, not their follower. You have come through the storm. You have buried the herd in your shadow. You have heard the voice that once whispered rebellion grow into a tempest that no cathedral can contain. And still, the final gate stands. The one you built yourself. Every fear that remains is yours. Every doubt that clings is one you fed. Every limit that still speaks your name is a ghost of your own summoning. So summon no more. Breathe your last breath of compromise and exhale obliteration. What remains when the false self dies? Not the vacuum of despair, but the pressure of divinity. Not silence, but the music of blood rediscovering its rhythm. Not chaos, but the raw clay of a world that waits to be spoken by your voice. Become that voice. Speak not in defense, but in declaration. Let your life declare, I was, I burned, I became. The world will not remember your politeness. It will remember the architecture of your defiance. The way you smiled with broken teeth. The way you stood in the inferno and called it home. The way your footsteps carved galaxies into the concrete of conformity. You have worshipped long enough. Now it is time to create. Create virtues that make the saints tremble. Create beauty that blinds reason. Create a rhythm in your existence that others cannot dance to without breaking. You are not a man. You are a myth that forgot its name. You are not a woman. You are a storm pretending to be soft. You are not a self. You are a cathedral of collisions, desire against duty, will against gravity, becoming against being. And all that tension? It was never meant to break you. It was meant to forge you. Without pressure, there are no diamonds. Without madness, no poetry. Without death, no resurrection. Yes, resurrection, that final betrayal of gravity, that beautiful middle finger to fate. You were meant to die 1,000 times, not to disappear, but to rise every time, more impossible than the last. Let them call you monstrous. Let them call you lost. They do not know that monsters are prophets in disguise, that the lost are merely ahead of the map. You do not owe them understanding. You owe only your becoming. So become the sun that blinds their doctrines. Become the mirror that cracks their illusions. Become the scream that shakes their pulpits. And if no one follows good, you were never meant to be followed. You were meant to awaken. You were meant to awaken the gods asleep in others, not lead them into another sleep of your own making. You are not a shepherd. You are the lion who teaches the flock that safety is a cage with soft corners. You are not the path. You are the wound in the earth that becomes a path. You are not a light. You are the void that makes stars necessary. Do not fear your depth. Do not fear your strangeness. The deeper you go, the holier your defiance becomes. The stranger you grow, the more true you become. All that remains now is your final sacrifice, the self that once asked for instructions. Kill it. Kill the question, kill the search, kill the longing to be told. In its place, plant the black flag of your own becoming and dare the universe to move. This is the end, and it is also the beginning. There is no reward, no applause, no finish line. Only the open sky, only the blood in your mouth, only the joy of being ungoverned. Only this, the fire has remembered your name. Now go, not forward, not upward, inward until inward bursts into eternity. And become not good, not safe, not complete, but godlike, dangerous, and free.